The East Division champs return home to BMO Field this Saturday and tangle with a familiar foe as the Hamilton Tiger Cats make the trip up to QEW to BMO Field this Saturday at 7 p.m. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Keys of the Game. Mike Hogan, Sean Bone here with you. Hoagie, the East Division champs, back after a massive win in Montreal. One of the most entertaining games in CFL history that I can remember. Bit of a snooze fest for the first, let's call it, 55 minutes? And then all of a sudden, the last 5 were just completely insane.
I don't know if it was a snooze fest. I was really enjoying the first half because the defense was so dominant. I think Montreal had 70 total yards in the first half. And, we've seen more and more players stepping up. Brandon Barlow's been dynamite. He's second on the team in sacks right now with 7. Yep. And if you asked anybody that trivia question, they wouldn't get it. They'd say Oakman, or they'd say, they know Flo is number 1, but who's number 2? And it's Barlow. He's been fantastic, and that ability to play inside or outside, inside if they want to go a little lighter or a little quicker on the inside. He's been dynamite. 6 more sacks last week? Yeah. It's crazy. And, we'll see what Hamilton's offensive line can do to try and slow down the pass rush, because not many teams have been able to.
Well, let's get into Saturday's matchup. I think by week 6 or 7 of this CFL season, I think a lot of people had a pendant Toronto-Montreal East Final. That looks like it may have changed now, right? I mean, you look at Hamilton, they've won 3 of their last 4. Their last loss coming against us, Labor Day, but beating Winnipeg last week. And then you look at Montreal, who's now lost 4 straight.
Yeah. It's wide open. And, there's an old axiom in the Canadian Football League that the season doesn't start until Labor Day.
Yeah.
And, the great thing about the pre-Labor Day thing for the Argos is they were able to build up a huge cushion. And they didn't have to play well in the second half, but so far they haven't lost since Labor Day.
Yeah.
It's been a clean sheet. So they've worked hard to build up the position that they're in, but it's wide open. Don't ignore Calgary on the other side.
No,
Don't ignore Edmonton on the other side. It's getting closer to a crossover. So this is a big game for Hamilton as well. Not only are they tied with Montreal, but both of those teams have to kind of go, look at the way Edmonton's playing right now. And Calgary, I think, is much better than their record.
Yeah.
The crossover doesn't look good for the West right now, but the dream isn't dead, and who knows what Ottawa can do. The problem for the Red Blacks is they lose both tiebreakers with the other Eastern teams. So it's still wide open, but I think that Montreal and Hamilton are both good enough where they're going to be 2 and 3. Now it's just a question of which team finishes second, which team finishes third.
You know what the best part is? They got to come here to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you go 11-1 on the season. And as we stick with Saturday, the importance of it from both sides. Obviously, Hamilton, looking to get in second place in the East. But for our side here, you're 11-1. You've got 6 games remaining. You've locked up the East Division. Is it now time to see what else this team has in terms of different players playing in different spots, youth? I mean, Chad Kelly's involvement here for the next 6 games. Go on and let us know what the viewer at home, what we can expect, not only Saturday, but potentially moving forward too.
I don't know. How was that? No, it's, what they have to do is they have to find that fine balance, because the last thing you want to do is go limping into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I mean, not physically, but I mean, what the momentum is that you've already built up, you want to keep your foot on the gas. You don't want to go into the playoffs losing 2 of your last 3 games because you've been sitting a lot of guys. I think it's going to be the MO to try and take a player and sprinkle them in here, take a player, give that guy a day off, come in here, but still play with the foot as far down on the gas as you can press it. Try to win, but maybe give some of those well-deserving players a day off or 2, because the last thing you want to do is have a battered, banged-up team heading into the Eastern Final.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, let's talk about the man who's constructed this team. New contract extension for Mr. Michael Pinball Clemens.
Who?
You know Pinball? Pretty good player. He's on the Wall of Fame. He's
that guy.
CFL Hall of Famer. I think he writes some of the checks that maybe either go to you or me.
That guy.
Yes. New contract extension for him, along with Mickey Donovan, special teams coordinator. No-brainer to bring Pinball back, and I mean, this city absolutely loves the man that's constructed this team. When you think of the Toronto Argonauts, the first thing you think of is Michael Pinball Clemens, and what a great day for him.
And historically, and the great historian James Fraser says it's Pinball and or Ted Morris, but probably Pinball as Mr. Argonaut, which is saying a lot because there's been 150 years of players and personalities through here. But he's won at every level, right? As a player, as a head coach, as a general manager, as an executive. He's just that guy. And in his 3 years here, since taking over the reins in late 2019, there have been 3 Eastern Finals hosted, or it will be 3
first place
now.
finishes.
3 first place finishes, an Eastern Final loss, and a Grey Cup win.
Yeah.
that ain't bad. And this 11-1 team is one of the best in team history and league history. So, yeah, he's been okay. And the one thing,
to put it ever so subtly.
well, I think the one thing that pinball does really well is he recognizes talent.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the field, in the coaching staff, in the front office, in the staff, and says, I count on you to do your job, do it well. Mm-hmm. And as long as you do it well, everything is fine. He's not a micromanager. He's like, okay, Vince, Murph, Alex, I'll make some decisions, but you guys tell me which decisions to make. Tell me the players, and I'll make the decision.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan, this is your team. Get your coaching staff in gear. Coach them up well. Mm-hmm. Here are the players. Do your job. You know, for the people and the staff, it's always just keep doing what you're doing, because right now everything seems to be going in the right direction. And Mike's smart enough to say, okay, everything's going well.
Yeah.
Right? Just take a step back and do all of that, and that's what he's done. And if there's a more likable sports personality in Toronto, I've been here since 1992. If there's been a more likable person, even if you're not an Argo fan, I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I know. Well, what's Pinner saying is if you're the smartest person in the room, you're doing something wrong.
No, it's your own fault.
It's your own fault.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's done. He's built up this coaching staff. He's hired the right guys. He's put everyone in place. So big shout out to the main man himself on a new contract extension, and for the fans, obviously elated to see that as well.
Everybody should have that man, and I'd say somebody like him, but there's really nobody like him. Everybody should have him for a boss for one day.
Yeah.
We're lucky. Like, I hope we don't take it for granted, because he's a dream to work for.
He is a dream to work for, and a super guy to speak with, and he's always very gracious with his time, even here at practice, signing autographs for the fans who come down here and watch us. We'll stop rambling. 7 o'clock Saturday, Toronto versus Hamilton, the final meeting between these two for the regular season. We don't know about playoffs as of yet, but hey, we got 6 more games to figure that one out. We'll see you guys on Saturday.